My name is Emily Grayson. I'm the Operations and Programs Administrator for Franklin Tomorrow. As you can see, I am not Mindy. She couldn't make it this morning. But welcome to our June Frank Talk series. We're so glad you all could make it, even though it's a little warm, but that's all right. We're in the shade and there's a breeze. So to begin, we're going to have Nancy Conway come up and ask you all a little trivia question, and whoever wins and gets the answer correct gets this Franklinite hat. So better get ready.
Thank you, Emily, and good morning, everyone. And I know you're enjoying being in the shade instead of the hot sunshine. But we welcome everyone. And, of course, I just want to recognize Everett over here. Our four-legged friend that's special today and with us and is braving the heat. And thank you for being with us. Okay. Now, Franklin City Parks is a very important part of this entire community. And of course, you know June is National Great Outdoors Month. And with that said, we all are here enjoying the outdoors today. So my question is, are you ready for the quiz question? Okay, how many Franklin City Parks are there currently?
Anybody? Take a guess?
18.
You got it. Well, congratulations. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So we just wanted to give a big thank you to our sponsors. We got our sustaining partner, Williamson Medical Center. We've got Greg here if you'd like to come up and say a few words.
Thank you. On behalf of the 2,000 employees of Williamson Medical Center Bone and Joint Clinic and the Williamson Medical Group, thank you for being here today. We're proud to support you all in the community. We've got a few things on the table for you. Number one is our flyer for our Advanced Surgical Technologies seminar that's going to be coming up. You can see all of our robotic technologies there in the hospital. You can come out and have some refreshments and talk to some physicians. We'd love for you to see you there. It's on the table. It's going to be the 19th of July, and we'll have a morning event. So please come out and see us, and if you have any questions, please come and let us know. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. And we also have representatives from Renaissance Bank here. If you'd like to say a few words, Tony. Welcome.
This is my shadow right there. Good morning, everybody. I got Diane, and with me is Tina Anderson. She's our Franklin manager, and CJ is our Cool Springs manager. So Diane brought some gifts and goodies. She also brought hot weather from the beach, too. But we're just excited to be sponsors with Franklin Tomorrow, and looking forward to a great finish of the year. We are, if you know anybody that's looking for a job, we do have some positions open right now at Cool Springs and Franklin, so I know there's a lot of now hiring signs out there, so we are hiring for some good talents. If you got a friend or family member looking for a job, please come and see us. We'd love to have you.
Definitely. Come on in and see us. Tony and I, short-term Tony at Franklin, but he'll be moving over to our Cool Springs office soon. But at our Franklin office, we'll be adding Tina to our staff there. She's currently at the Cool Springs branch. And then introduce CJ, who's going to be at our Cool Springs office. Tina will join us in Franklin. So we do have, appropriately today, our cooling towels. And if you just wet them just a little bit, they are amazingly cool. So we'll pass these out, but just wet it a little bit, and you can use it in many different ways. So hopefully that'll keep us all a little cool on our walk today. But thanks for having us.
Yeah, feel free to grab a cooling towel before we head out on our walk. And also thank you to the Good Food Group for providing coffee this morning. And so we'll get started. We've got City of Franklin Parks Department here with us, Friends of Franklin Parks, and Bike Walk Franklin Group. So, Janie, you want to come kick us off?
All right, good morning. I'm Janie Mason. I'm with the City of Franklin Parks Department. I'm the Recreation Supervisor. So in a few minutes, I'll talk to you a little bit about some special events and things we have coming up over the summer. But Thank you for coming to Aspen Grove Park today. The Franklin Parks Department's vision is to provide high-quality, accessible parks, historic sites, trail, and recreation amenities that will create positive recreational health experiences for all the residents and visitors of Franklin. So we're glad that you're here today to share in that with us. And I know they touched a little bit on the trivia earlier, but I'll share a little more with you about the park system. We do have 18 parks in the city, and that includes 24 acres of historic parks, 900 total acres of parkland, and 4 football fields, 8 tennis courts, an outdoor basketball court, 15 baseball diamonds, 4 softball diamonds, 2 fishing ponds, and then the Parks Department does offer 20 community events throughout the year. And as these next few years go through, we have several big projects coming on board. So the number of parks will increase, the acreage will increase, and the opportunities that we provide will increase. And so we're excited to share that with you in the future. A few things we have coming up. We've currently, just last week we kicked off our Movie in the Park series over the summer. So on Fridays at Pinkerton Park at 8 o'clock each Friday for the rest of June, and then the last 3 Fridays in July we'll be offering a family-friendly movie at no charge, and we'll have some food trucks and games and fun, and then enjoy the movie in the park. So we hope that you'll all come out and share that with us. We are also going to be hosting the July 4th celebration at the park at Harlansdale Farm. So if you've never experienced Harlansdale on the 4th, I encourage you to come out. I think it's the best party in town. So the park will be open at 5 o'clock that night for you to come. We'll have live music, entertainment, a game zone, and then you really do get the best seat in town to watch the fireworks that shoot off right at dark. And then also at Pinkerton Park later in the summer, we're going to be having our Kids Water Day and then a Kids Water Party. So Kids Water Day is July 20th, and then our water party will be on August 2nd and 3rd. It's kind of our send-off for kids to go back to school with a party before they go. And then I've got our event schedules over here on the table, as well as the Movie in the Park schedule, and then some sunscreen and sunglasses before you take off for your walk here in a little bit. But if you have any questions, please feel free to stop at the table. I'd love to connect with you and answer any questions that I can. Thank you.
Hi guys, good morning. I'm Emily Harris. I'm with Friends of Franklin Parks, and I'm just going to share a little bit about who we are. I'm sure you've heard of us, what we do, and what we have coming up. We are so fortunate to work with the City of Franklin Parks Department, so we get to be privy to a lot of the things they do that can be really exciting. So our mission is to cultivate stewardship within the community and preserve the cultural and natural resources. And we have the vision to enhance the park's experience for future generations, which I think is really important, especially because we have such a tight-knit community in Franklin, and we are such an integral part to the state of Tennessee and to the Nashville area. And so we have some really fun things coming up this month in particular that are community building events. We have yoga in the park on the 21st, and that is just a community event where we have several different yoga instructors come out in the morning at Harlansdale, and it's right by the Tractor Supply Co-Arena, and we'll have a kids zone and tons of yoga instructors coming out. I think we have 6 or 7 of them, so I guess that's not tons, just 6 or 7, and they'll be leading us through all types of different yoga, whether that's restoration yoga or kind of cardio yoga, and it's going to be super hot, so it will also be like hot yoga, and which we're prepared for, but it's early morning, so it won't be too terribly hot. And then we also have Twilight Polo coming up, and that'll be, I believe it's the 16th of July, and that's after the fireworks show. I know Janie mentioned that, and that's the most fun event, so please do come out for that. But Twilight Polo will be great. It's an evening event. Obviously, it's polo. It'll be at the Tractor Supply Co-Arena. So please come out and enjoy the horses. We're so thankful to be able to bring the horses back to Harlansdale and host events there. So I really hope you guys have a great day. Actually, I'm not done. I wanted to touch on the inclusive playground. So I'm sure you guys have heard Friends of Franklin Parks is partnering with the City of Franklin. It's a $3 million campaign, so we are meeting them. We're bringing 1.5 from the community, and they are bringing 1.5 from the city. And so the inclusive playground is going in south of here, where Carruthers and I-65 parallel, so by Ladd Park and the Ag Center. And that's going to be, the playground itself is going to be 3 acres, and then there are going to be several multi-use sports fields, so soccer, lacrosse. And then the second phase of it, which I'm really excited about, is an amphitheater going in. So I feel like that'll bring a lot of entertainment and fun events to Franklin. But please feel free to stop by and ask us any parks questions or Friends of Franklin Parks questions. We will be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're going to welcome the Bike Walk Franklin group. Lou, if you want to come on up and start your demonstration.
Thank you. Just a brief introduction to Bike Walk. We're a relatively new organization, but we're chartered by Bike Walk Tennessee, and our charter is Franklin. There's another group in Brentwood, for instance, and then there's a big group in Nashville that's somewhat affiliated. And our primary role is safety. We are involved. If a sidewalk needs fixing, that's something we're going to lobby for. If there's a movement to add a sidewalk, we're going to be involved in that. We just finished in May at Johnson Elementary a police escorted bike or walk to school day. We had great participation. For the kids that participated, I think it's going to be a lifetime memory to have the cops out in front of you and rolling from Jim Warren across 96 on the brand new sidewalks all the way up to Johnson Elementary. It was really a lot of fun. And we actually we hit all the major TV stations with that, which was pretty fun. So that's a little bit about us. We may have a Christmas event that will interest all of you, and where we're hoping to do a very short ride where you put lights on your bikes and go maybe 3 to 5 miles, come back, and then have a little gathering. I was involved in that in Knoxville, and it would draw hundreds of people. And it was just a great parade of all the crazy lights and things that people put on their bikes. Speaking to myself, I am a cyclist. I used to be a runner. I probably have 50,000 miles in cycling, and I have been involved for years in Nashville at the elementary schools doing bicycle training. My audience usually runs from about age 5 to age 11, and I was hoping at least some of the kids would come up, but it's a very appropriate audience, and hopefully you'll walk out remembering a few things. We're going to go, we call this Bike Safety 101, and we're going to go back to elementary school, and we're going to go back to the ABCs. Except there's not going to be a D or an F. We're going to start with, see how well I can manage this. Actually, the A, the B, and the C stand for things that we should know about before we ever get on our bicycle. So anybody want to take a guess at what A stands for? Got it. Okay. So, it's a handy, the gas, okay. Most of the gas stations will, will help you out, but all of them want $1 now. So it might be worth investing in a pump. If you don't have one, borrow one from a neighbor. But if you don't know, on the side of the bicycle, every bicycle tire made in the United States, and for that matter, made around the world, there is a PSI designation. What does PSI stand for? Pounds per square inch. And that's the maximum. This one is 120. And there are some road bikes that go up to 170. Most of the recreational bikes are somewhere between 45 and 60. You don't have to go to maximum, but you want to start out by making sure you've got some air. Because number one, you're not going to ride well. Number two, you're going to tear a tire up. So that's the air side. Let's move on to B. You're good. Okay. A lot of the kids end up having bicycles that are foot brakes. Most of the bikes that, as adults, we ride, the brakes are on the handlebars. You need to know which one is rear, which one is front. You need to make sure they work. In doing some of our training, we've had some real problems where kids hopped on a bike and he either didn't know how to stop the bike or the brakes didn't work. So from a safety standpoint, and if they don't work, if you're like me, you're going to go to a bike shop. I think Ned and some of the other guys in our group, Micah and Craig sitting back here, might be able to check the cables, make sure they're not broken, and move on. But okay, we got air, we got brakes. How about C? Chain. All right. Sitting here. Most of our bikes, this is the chain is the most ignored, maligned part of the bicycle. It is amazing what a little oil, and I think you can get this at Home Depot. This is Finish Line. Spray the chain, paper towel. Usually you want to wind the chain backward, and you'll be amazed what you'll get off the chain, and you'll be amazed at how differently the bike will ride after you've done that. So, most of us, you're going to ride. You just as soon not have to labor too much, but there's rust accumulates. So that's the those are the ABCs. It's easy to remember. Hopefully the kids remember it. If we go back to the same school the next year, it's, hey, that's what that is. It's just very worthwhile before you get on the bike. The next thing that we're going to cover is about you and getting on the bike. So I'm going to need that darn helmet over there. And I'm going to pass this around. Wherever it gets to, if you'll just bring it back to the table. What I'm passing around, and this registers with the kids, is my bike helmet. And that's 5 years ago, a ride that they did in Eagleville. And I was going no more than 5 miles an hour. Sorry. Thank you. I was going no more than 5 miles an hour. But everybody decided to stop. It's sort of an accordion effect. And I hit the bike in front of me. I went over. I hit on my side. I had a concussion that lasted at least a week. When we're talking to the kids, we always ask them, have you ever had a broken arm? Anybody had a broken arm in the room? Okay, they put a cast on it, they fix it. You ever had a broken head? They don't have casts for heads. Head injuries are deadly. They're scary. They can affect you for a lifetime. So getting on a bicycle, even in your own neighborhood, without a helmet is just not something you want to do. Anything wrong with the way I put this helmet on? Okay. You will be amazed if kids bring their bicycles and their helmets to school, how many people think this is the right way. Probably should not even have the hat on. That this is how a helmet should fit. Well, then there's absolutely no protection in the forehead, and really helmet fit is a 2-2. You want to be able to get 2 fingers in under your chin, and you want 2 fingers up here. That's how far it should be down, and it should be pretty tight. So it makes a huge difference. A little getting used to, all of us would just as soon it not be very tight. But if it's not very tight, it doesn't work. Okay. So let's see if I can pull the cord out here. We're going to move from our safety. And any questions about, I mean, we can all tell you quite a bit about bike clothing, but you don't need it. We can tell you about whether you want to clip in or not, but to just get started, you don't need those things. Recommend clothing that's pretty light so you're visible. I'm fine to ride in shorts. If I'm going to ride a long distance, then I might want some bike gear. But just to take a ride through the neighborhood, it's a really pretty cheap sport to be involved with. So the last piece that we're going to cover is rules of the road. As far as the state of Tennessee is concerned, this comes closer to being a car than a pedestrian. I don't know how many of you realize that. But what side of the road is a bicycle supposed to be on? The right side of the road. Yeah, I have this. I wish it worked out a little bit better, but we have a little miniature road back here. So we want to be on the right side of the road. If we're coming up to an intersection, which is a little hard for you to see, but we did sort of create an intersection, how do I tell the person behind me that I'm going to stop? This. Down. And yelling out I'm stopping doesn't hurt either. Okay? Hand signals, if I'm going to turn to the left, that's pretty clear. But there are two ways to indicate that you're going to turn right. A few of us are old enough that we had cars that didn't have signals, and so this is a legitimate right-hand turn signal, and this is a legitimate right-hand turn signal. That really is about it for being on the road. There's lots of other things. One I really wanted to cover. I'm coming down the right-hand side of the road and I'm turning left. Okay. So many people, I don't know how well you can see this, cut the corner. And they're out in front of Animalia on 96. There's a guy that just about got killed doing that very thing. The problem is, coming up from Boyd Mill, the car had no idea. They weren't looking for somebody to come at them from the right-hand side. They were looking for people to cross the street as a car would. And so the car hit the cyclist, and it was very bad. So you don't cut a corner. Just as a car would, you come down, you signal, and you go, and you make the same far side turn into the right-hand lane of the road you're turning onto. Questions? Yes, sir.
What about riding at night? I don't see lights on your bike.
There is a light in the back on this bicycle, and I have a very powerful light in the car that charges. I charge it up in the car, so it's a USB connection. There are some nighttime. A couple of the groups, I think the Trace group, does a nighttime ride on the Trace in the summer, which is pretty cool. And definitely need the lights, because.
Are there clips to the handlebars?
It actually, yes, it does. Clips right here on this one. There are other ways to do that. Some people have lights on their helmets. Some people also will have a mirror on their bicycle, which is helpful. I just can't get used to looking at the mirror and looking at the road at the same time is a problem for me. I think it may be an old age problem. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Bicycle pricing.
Huh?
pricing, bikes, cost of bikes? How much do bikes cost?
Cost? The only bikes you need to fear are the really, really cheap bikes. You don't want some of those bikes are going to last about 80 hours of riding, and then you got a problem. I'm a fan of the bike shops. If Costco has a sale on a bike, a certain bike, it might be pretty good. So you're going to be up about $500, or you can go on to Facebook or Craigslist and start looking around. There is if you're serious about biking, then there are things you would need to worry about with a fit. This is a 57, considered a medium-sized bicycle. I can't ride a 51. My wife might be able to, or somebody that's 5'2" or 5'1". If you're buying one from somebody that is not going to help you be fitted, you need to be really aware that fit does matter. A lot of kids keep their seat, I think, too low. They get nervous about jumping off the bicycle, but you lose a great deal of power when you don't raise the seat up. And even in a spin class, they have rules and ideas on how far up the saddle should come. So, there's a lot of expertise around. I mean, honestly, I spend a lot of time on spin bikes at Franklin Y. And there's no downhill in a spin class. so I probably get a harder workout than I do when I'm on the road, but it sure is fun to be out on the road and taking in the pleasures. And occasionally this time of year we'll find some blackberries and we'll stop and pick the blackberries and all those good things. Anything else?
What is the ideal angle of extension on when you're riding?
Not much. I'm not sure if I can. I'm down to it. I don't. It certainly doesn't want to be a complete inside, but just a slight bend is ideal for power, and I think ideal for keeping your knees safe as well. Okay. Somebody just took a picture of my knee. How exciting! Okay. All right. Do we have? I think I've probably eaten the time up.
Are there any other questions? Oh, there's one back. Is there any particular brand when you saw that bike ride that you recommend someone should use?
No. Virtually every bike that you're going to buy is going to come from Taiwan or China or Indonesia. A lot of them are rebranded and all come out of the same factory. So where people create differences in the bicycles is the other componentry. How rugged is or how light. A lot of bicyclists have gramitis. They want less weight. But the shifting, how many shifts, you can get disc brakes on a bicycle. That almost is standard now. All the bike stores are handling different brands, and with a little help, it's even okay if you try to find your bike online, because bike stores don't carry the inventory that they used to. They can't afford to. So it's really hard. You used to be able to go in a bike store, you could ride 3 bikes, 3 different brands, and some different sizes, and those days are kind of gone. It's unfortunate, but that's the way our world goes. Anybody? Micah, Craig, Ned, anything to add? All right. Oh yeah. I used to live in Knoxville, and a fellow was named Jeff Roth was killed close to Knoxville. He was on a 12-foot bike lane and a pickup truck crossed and hit him. It led both the creation of the foundation and lobbying the state legislature successfully for what we call the 3-foot rule. And the 3-foot rule is that a car should not be any closer to you than 3 feet. And I think it's made some difference. It also makes a difference if someone does get hit, that you've got a little more leverage in taking on the person that hit you. And I fear other cyclists more than I fear cars, to be honest. And I fear myself that something in the middle of the road that I hit, that I'm not looking at it, and I'm not that I'm not really gripping my handlebars, and I go down. Everybody, I know if you're new to cycling, you're going to be a little nervous about cars. If you're on the right side of the road, if you're doing the right thing, I think you're going to be pretty safe. This is a great county to ride a bike in, and the trace is remarkable. We're just totally blessed to be able to do what we can do. And there are, back behind Brentwood Y, there's probably 5 or 6 miles of paved roads if you want to get out and just get started. And there's a number of other places where you can do that as well. All right, how many of you own a bike? All right, how many of you ride a bike? Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much, Lou. Thank you to everyone who was able to join us today on this beautiful but a little warm day. It's not a bad way to start off the week. Our next Frank Talks will be Monday, July 11th. The location is to be determined, but I can promise you it won't be outside again. So thank you for braving it today. Feel free to come up and chat with everybody who spoke this morning. We are going to walk the trail just to the other side. It makes a little loop, so feel free to join us. Grab some water, coffee, and definitely grab a cooling towel, and we'll see you next month. So thank you so much.